security awareness and the idea of being able to sell a security awareness program by speaking the right language, for example. And I want to dive into a few questions with you. And the first question I had is, in getting ready for the call, we talked about using your company's annual report as a way to find information to align your program to. Will you explain a little bit about, how you should do this if you're in security and trying to push the needle on security awareness programs?
You bet, and thank you for your time. I'm happy to be here. If you're working with a public company, by law, those companies have to provide to the Security and Exchange Commission an annual report. It's also called a 10K, and that can be found on your company's website. It's a public document, usually under either investors or under the About. There's down where you'll find it. But you'll find an investors section, and there will be filings or SEC filings, or annual report link, and you'll find in there that document. And in that document is a area or a section called risk factors. And this is again, all the annual reports are the same because this is the structure that's required by the SEC. And in that risk factors section is where organizations, public companies, make statements that say essentially, these are risks that we identify in our space. And if any of these happen, you cannot sue us because we've already identified them, right? We've said that they are issues. We're aware of them. And in that risk factor section, you'll find all sorts of things that are germane to the company, its industry, where it does business. It'll be everything that you can imagine about risk. There's all sorts of operational risk and the customer risk and credit risk. But fairly near the top in that section, you'll find a statement that talks about cybersecurity being a risk. And in there is verbiage that will state something to the effect of our systems are subject to misappropriation, to hackers, to viruses. Could be any number of ways that they say it. But the bottom line is what they're saying is we are subject to risks in the cybersecurity space that could materially harm our business. And these are things that at the top of the company they say are issues. And so what you do then is you are aware of that and you go to within your own world now. It shows that you're aware of the company and what we're trying to, as a whole, what we're trying to achieve and the things that we're trying to avoid. And you can align what you're trying to do with these statements. Now, I do this a lot for customers that I speak with, and I actually did this yesterday with a very large global company, and it had some interesting statements in there about human error and people. And so security awareness training is all about people. And so what it does, it just shows your organization and the people that you work with that you're a company person, right? That you're aware of what's going on in the organization and that what you're trying to do helps to mitigate these risks that have been stated by the company itself. That's the first step, right? In just aligning your world with the statements that the company is stating are important to them.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that way of showing that you understand the business and you're just trying to help the business achieve its objectives, right? That's kind of how you're selling it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay, great. Now that 10K is a gold mine of information, it sounds like, under the risk factor section. What if you work for a private company? Where would you find similar types of information?
So there are lots of companies that don't have to file that document every year, right? And so what you have to do is take a little more research. And this kind of research, in my opinion, is kind of the foundational research, whether you're with a private or a public company. Because it's not just about, oh, these bad things are out there and we need to, be aware of them. We need to squelch them down. We need money to do that. The thing to do is to understand what your company's goals are, your business goals. What are they trying to achieve? What what financial goals exist within your organization? We want to raise this much money. We want to hit this amount of revenue by this time. We want to change in this way. We want to move into these markets. This kind of information should be available in a number of areas. Number one, your upper management, your senior management, they're out there talking about these things. Do the Google search, do the research, go into LinkedIn, go into Facebook even. LinkedIn is going to be a little more efficient, but do the research on the people in your organization. What are they doing? What are they talking about? Where are they at? Who are they associating with? What do you know about them? This whole approach that I'm talking about is knowing your customer. Your customer is your upper management and senior management in this example. Learn everything you can about them. And on your own company's website, you're going to find things like a vision statement or a mission statement. There's going to be verbiage that talks about this is what we do, this is what we believe in, this is how we approach things. And you need to speak that language. You need to show that what we're trying to do in security awareness training is going to help us reach these goals that have been stated. This moves you away from just being in a bit of an island of trying to, you know, well, people keep clicking, we need to train them, and we need to, you know, stop Susie from clicking so much, or whatever it is, or Bob's over here, he's our poster child. It moves it to say, look, we need to together help our company succeed. And one way that I can help us reach the goals that have been stated is to do better things within security awareness training. You see the difference there? It's not just sitting in a lone space, just kind of barking out, help, help, we need to do these things, and blah, blah, blah. It's showing how what you're doing is relative to the organization. So there's lots of information about the company. Let me give you one experience I had with a private company where they were building a new campus. They were moving a lot of their offices to a new campus, like 600,000 square feet. It was a significant thing. And the conversation that we were going to have didn't have anything to do specifically with facilities and new construction. But I just brought it up. I said, hey, I saw in the paper that you guys are building a new facility. How is that going? What kind of stress is that putting on the IT organization or InfoSec? And it opened up a whole new conversation about things of deployment, and with that 600,000 square feet came new people. And so I'm just talking about things, right? I'm just interested in what's going on in their world. So take the time to look at what's happening in your company. Read the news about it. Read everything you can about the website and the individuals that you're working with. Just get to know them, and you'll find little nuggets that you can utilize to present your information in a very relative manner. And when you do that, things stick. It just connects. When you have a metric or you have something you want to get by, when you make it relative to the individual or to the organization, it will stick.